Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Got a question up on our Facebook page. Many of you reacting to this, and we just talked with Brent Cianci about it. Do you believe Utah and or BYU have done enough to close the gap with Texas Tech? Ken, how about no? Takes a lot of cookies to match up against West Texas Oil.
It do.
See what you did there, Ken. That was very nice. Well played. Earl.
He's right.
No. I think BYU's a bit closer this year, but I'd pick Texas Tech to win. But Cougs have a great chance. Go Cougs.
Okay, well, why'd you say no, and then you say they have a great chance?
Because he's trying to talk himself into it because he's a fan.
I think right now, today, they have as good a chance as anybody. I will say that.
Mickey says no, but maybe Texas Tech has slipped enough.
It's hard for me to imagine that Texas Tech is going to be as good as they were last year.
How can you put together that defense? You could have a good defense, but that defense was overwhelming.
Right. And it had, and not just, and it was, there's no question about it. And a lot of their guys were fifth-year guys.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the talent and
the experience.
Yeah.
And they were unblockable. Yeah. Watching those BYU and Utah games, and both those offensive lines had good years last year. Yeah, I think Utah had a great year. And both times, you're watching guys from Texas Tech just run into the backfield and blow up the play. I don't know what they were trying to do, but there was no time to do it.
So that's where I think that the gap can be closed a little bit, combined with the fact that you've got returning quarterbacks that now have been through it. This was their first time through it, so it stands to reason that they should be better. And I think that if the Utes had retained everybody from the coaching staff, then I'd be even higher on them. And it's not that I'm not high on the guys that they have, but I just think that there's a possibility for some growing pains, some adjustments, some types of stuff, because they're all going through it together. If you would have had Beck with Dampier, that would have been their third year. That's unheard of, which obviously it is unheard of because it didn't happen.
Thanks for explaining yourself.
Yeah. And we understand why it didn't happen. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to totally start from scratch. McGivern was talking about that yesterday in the Utes media availability. You can go hear the sound at KSLSports.com if you want to hear it for yourself. So from that perspective, that's why I'm still high on them. And I think maybe in my mind, and maybe it's wishful wanting it to happen, so I'm believing what I'm trying to see, and I haven't necessarily seen it yet, but I do think that both teams, if they get the opportunity, will be more competitive. And if they do get the opportunity, then it's for the whole thing, and that's what's really cool if they play. So if they get, and I believe one of them will play, Texas Tech. If I'm betting right now, toss up, I'd go 60-40 Cougars, maybe 65-35 Cougars, that they would be the team to play Texas Tech in Texas, Arlington, on that first Friday of December. So, yeah, that's the way I see it. And then we'll know for sure if it gets to that point that, yeah, the gap has been closed. We shall see.
Brian Tracy goes full Pablo Mastroeni here. He says both Utah and BYU just need to worry about themselves and show up for a full season. Texas Tech isn't on the schedule. They're the defending champs. You got PTSD from playing them last year.
Oh, I don't think they're worried about Texas Tech.
It figures that you could meet them in a conference title game, but you got 12 games, and you got to figure those out before you worry about Texas Tech. But you and I are going to sit here and talk
Kelly
about them.
Popinga that very question, and he said, I'm not worried about them right now. They're over there, and if we get them, it's in the conference final. And he said, I don't know much about them. Well, if it comes to that, they'll know everything about them. They'll have 12 games of film, upside down, inside out. And so, yeah, I understand that. But they're still the team that you're chasing Everyone is chasing them right now. When the Devils won the first year of the current existence of the Big 12, we didn't think that, okay, they're going to be the dominant team. We thought, okay, Kenny Dillingham's got it going on, and they're going to be better. They're going to be tough. We thought that. I think that's a fair assessment. But now that Texas Tech, Devils won one, Texas Tech won one, but we all think Texas Tech is the team to beat, even though last year we didn't think, well, that's the program to beat. And now we think with Texas Tech, that's the program to beat. It's what I talked about last summer. It's what I was concerned about.
Texas Tech has a ton of money, and in the transfer portal era, set aside the wins and the losses and the ability to game plan or to coach your guys up. Set all that aside for a second. In the transfer portal, Texas Tech routinely wins more than they lose. They have way more guys coming in than they have going out, and they hit on them. Then you look at ASU. When it comes to the big money guys, they lose. Mm-hmm. Now, they may win overall because they're good at assessing talent and they'll find guys up and coming, but when they got a quarterback and can do it, LSU and their $50 million budget gets them.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And Texas goes and gets their 1,000-yard running back, right? And you're losing to big brand, big money schools. Yeah. And Tech doesn't. Now, maybe partly Tech doesn't because they go out and get these fifth-year guys.
Well, I think that we'll see that it's not just the transfer portal. I don't think their program is built on transfer portals. It was last year, but I don't think going forward, because if you've been looking at the recruiting.
They're winning there too.
Yeah. And so they're now more about augmenting with the portal, which I think everybody should do, because if you're having to overhaul completely, then you're probably not going to be all that good. Now, some teams have to. Rich Rod had to. North Texas people coming over to Oklahoma State, they had to. But once you get past that, I think what you want is what we've seen from the two locals here. You're augmenting it, not relying on it for the bulk of your talent. And I think Texas Tech is in the process of moving in that direction because they've been getting a lot of better recruits that normally they wouldn't get. And it reflects it. I mean, they've had the history of the program. You can look at it. They had the nice run with Leach, and then it dropped off. Well, now why is it back? Cash. And they're one of these guys with these programs, like I said, they should be like the Dodgers. Say, yeah, we bought these players. Instead of trying to, no, anybody can. No, they can't. And you can. Good for you. You didn't break the rule. The NCAA is not hunkering down in Lubbock. So don't worry about it. That's the way you do it. And it's up to these other teams to close the gap. And I think you can close it because I don't think every single kid is looking for every last penny, especially the younger guys, because you go into it and you want to be a place you're going to be there 3 or 4 years or so, and you want to be a place where it's comfortable. The fifth-year guys, take the cash. You only got to be there 6 months. Who cares?
How hard is it?
Yeah, right. 6 months. It blows by so quickly.
I think some of those questions, the historic questions, do I fit here? Do I like these coaches? Then I'm going to spend 4 years. I got to really make sure I'm on the same page. But a fifth-year senior has already had position coaches, coordinators, possibly head coach to change, and they then go in for 1 year. I know what I'm doing. Does this coach put guys into pros? Blah, 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 and away you go.
And am I getting paid?
And what's the money? Yeah, what's the money?
Yeah. So I think that's what you got there. And I think that's how BYU and Utah close the gap, is by getting these kids, building them up, coaching them up, those types of things, all those cliches, blah, 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 and away you go. And right now, considering the amount of talent that left the program, and I know Texas Tech can reload, I think they can close the gap. And I want to see it, too. I also want to see it. And in order to see it directly, it has to be a one-on-one matchup. And that'd be awesome. I'm actually rooting for Texas Tech to lose a few, and I want to see BYU and Utah play each other. That would be play twice in one season. That would be incredible.
Yeah. Play that first week in November, and then a month later, do it again.
That's the best-case scenario for me.
We'll sign off on that right now. Yeah. But for that to happen, who's going to beat Tech? Because they don't play the Utes and Cougars, and most of the games they play against the next tier, they play at home. I mean, their conference road schedule is Colorado, Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, and Baylor. Now, Oklahoma State and Baylor are back-to-back weeks. Maybe that gets a little tricky. It does sometimes. You mix in a lot of travel and all that. But that's not exactly a difficult road schedule right there. You got major questions about multiple teams on that list. It's 5 home, 4 road, and the 4 road, Arizona State could be hard games. Houston could be a hard game, and all 3 of those are at home. Mm-hmm. So it really lines up for Tech.
It does. Yeah. Well,
TCU, that could be another tough game, also at home.
Yeah, it looks like their home schedule is tougher than the road schedule. But, one turned ankle can change everything.
Oh, yeah. Well, we thought they were going in the year with 2 good quarterbacks. Now they're going in with 1 good quarterback, and he's coming off an injury. And
the kid from Tulsa did play, and, I think that for a short time he can help you. So I don't think that it's completely total, oh, my gosh, what do we do now? So, but that's the reality of it, and you've got to find a way if it should come to that, or if it doesn't come to that where you beat them, that you've done enough to be able to get yourself an at-large bid. That can happen too.
12-1. I mean, if you're 11-1 and you don't make, let's say BYU gets the big win, beats Notre Dame, but they lose to Utah. They're 11-1, and Utah's playing Texas Tech in the conference title game.
Well, depending on what what that game looks like, then
could BYU get in without even being in the conference title game? Yes,
I'll scream from tops of the mountains. If you go to Rice Eccles and lose a close one, and they
after
tend to be
beat
Notre Dame and handle everybody else, yes, that would be a joke. 11-1 and you're not in, that would just be an absolute joke. That if I'm your Mark, I'm going to their stuff is based in Texas, and I think that's where they end up meeting. I storm that committee room and I start chucking computers against the wall. Yeah, that's what it's going to take. If it came to that.
Now, the flip side, if it's the Utes who lose the game to BYU and they win every other game and they're 11-1, but they don't play Tech and they lose.
Tell me what the game looked like.
Yeah.
Again, if it's 42-10, that's another story. That's why BYU had no leg to stand on last year.
So lopsided.
Yes, 63-14, I think it was. Yes, so you don't even necessarily have to win. That in a form is respect to me. So BYU last year had an opportunity to gain respect, but they couldn't do it. And what I mean by that is I think they could have gotten way more serious consideration and discussion to get in if it would have been 27-24. But it was a blowout. They bounced the ball all over the turf. We know what happened, and I get Bachmeier was banged up and dinged up, but the committee, you just can't. You can't. If you make excuses or make allowances, if you want to call it, for one, then you got to go down that road and do it for everybody. It's much easier to say, you got rolled both times, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. It would have been interesting if it would have been 5 minutes to go and a one-score game. But it wasn't. It was garbage time the fourth quarter. And they threw in some turnovers late in that game, too, to make it even worse. So they didn't give themselves a chance, but they had the chance to get respect. Now come back this year and be in that position to, you don't necessarily have to win all your games. The thing would be is if you lost to Notre Dame and maybe lost to Utah. Suppose you lost to both of those teams super close.
I'd like to make the argument, but at 10-2, it just feels like we've seen too many two-loss teams bounced.
But you've got 2 losses, close losses to 2 top 15 teams, and in the case of Notre Dame, probably a top 5. Maybe Utah top 10. And what would that be? I think they can get some run, as long as you played those games extremely close. I just don't see, if you don't have any other losses along the way, that if you go to Rice-Eccles and lose a close one, you should be penalized that much. And the committee certainly understands the nature of that game. Come on, of course they do. If they didn't, they should be fired from their jobs that I don't think they get paid for anyway. So they shouldn't be allowed. You should know that that game often is a toss-up. Emotions are crazy. Fans are crazy, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I thought the year before they should have got more consideration. I mean, they managed to go. But I guess Utah being 5-7, that's probably what hurt them. They really didn't get credit for that dramatic win because the Utes weren't, record-wise, of the circumstances, weren't good enough. So you need those other teams. Any team you beat this year, you want them to be good because that's going to help you. This is, in a sense, the strength of the opponent now in a basketball way. Until we expand it to 24, that's what you need. So whoever you beat, you need them to be good. Beating a 5-7 Utah team did nothing for you 2 years ago.
Because so many teams did it.
In terms of the committee trying to get an at-large bid. That's,
part of that.
That's I don't see how you can argue with that.
It is. It's not debatable.
Right.
I mean, you were part of a team's 7-game losing streak while they went through 4 or 5 different quarterbacks. So
yeah.
And one of the guys who was supposed to play as he went down the depth chart didn't play because he was already hurt. I think they played 4, but I think they missed 5.
I think Brandon Rose played that game, who threw passes to Tiger Bachmeier in high school, and Bear Bachmeier was Brandon Rose's backup.
Go figure.
Small world.
Small world. Yeah. Tiger filled us in on all of that.
I think that's Marietta. I think I knew that, but it's they're all from Marietta, right?
They're from like some small town nearby, but yeah, they go into Marietta High School, Vista Marietta, or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
takes in the greater Marietta metropolitan area.
I wouldn't go metro area. I've been there, but it's decent enough, and it's close to everything else too.
All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Cougars opening practice yesterday. We spoke with Kelly Papinga. You'll hear that conversation at 9 o'clock. After the break, we'll give away tickets to see RSL. If you want to go out to games Saturday night, stick around. That's right after the break, right here on the Zone.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCoe.
Joining us now, it is the head coach of the Utah State Aggies, Bronco Mendenhall.
I know you're so process-driven and there's a plan to every part of the season, but is this your favorite part?
There's an excitement that comes to the start of every season for sure. I would have to say, just in terms of full transparency, I really like the offseason. I like the molding, forming, crafting, forging the next team through the weight workouts and through the runs and through the early morning workouts and through spring practice. I think that's my favorite era. Nothing takes away from the season, or can it take the place of the season, and the excitement going into today, certainly at a really high level. I think foundationally that my favorite part is the formation of the team, and now this part where you get to see kind of the fruition of the formation of your program.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's August, PK. All the writers on all the major websites have got to come up with something, and they come up with a lot of lists. CBS Sports with a list of the Big 12 coaching rankings. Your guy, Kenny Dillingham, number 4, the biggest riser in the Big 12 a year ago, holds steady after validating ASU's rapid turnaround. Joey McGuire at Texas Tech, number 3. I guess they have so much money, it's really hard to impress as a coach and get all the credit for all the wins because everybody's looking at the money. Willie Fritz at Houston, number 2, getting them to double-digit wins. He came in with a good rep, and he has improved that rep with a good season. And at number 1, ranked number 12 nationally, Kalani Sitake at BYU. They're doing those rankings. Can't ignore the fact Penn State went after him, and that was a story nationally for a little while until he decided to stay.
Well, it'll be a story again this year.
Waiting to see what comes open.
Yeah.
Somebody will come after him.
We don't know what's going to be open.
Right. Early speculation already centering on USC.
His name will be
around something
in the Majerus format. Now, if he keeps turning him down, then eventually Majerus petered on that. Yeah. Because it was clear he wasn't going to go. And so for here, Kalani, and Kalani's a lovable dude. Majerus, he was quirky, minimally. I could go worse than that. I can tell you a million stories. But Kalani's not like that. I mean, I watched him yesterday go around and make sure everybody got some form of a salutation. That means greetings, Ute fans, for every person media-wise who was there. I mean, we're interviewing Papinga. He gives me, the hey, because he got done. He was walking in the locker room, and so he gives me like the heads up, catches my eye. Well, that's not good enough. Then he's got to come over, and he's not going to interrupt the interview, and he's got to give you bones, right? That's just who the guy is. So the dude is lovable, but yet he is also he's won, and you ultimately a coach is going to be judged by his record. But I think that from that perspective, if they win again this year, which we expect them to do, BYU is going to have to go through that again. And that's the old Chris Hill theory that, well,
that's what you want.
If they come after you, that means you're doing well. And so, and Chris was right about that. So with this in mind here, the way I look at it is, what have you done with everything that's available to you? Not how much have you won, but what have you done with what is available? I mean, Ryan Day, okay, he's winning, but everybody wins there.
Congrats. Get in line.
That doesn't mean he's not a great coach. It's just that he may not get the run there that he would if he went to Purdue and did what he did, or any of those other Michigan State, you name it. So for here, yeah, I've got no problem with that list. And Morgan, he should be at the bottom because he hasn't done anything yet.
They got him next to last.
Well, he should be.
Yeah, and the two guys at the bottom are brand new coaches, and they ranked him 15th because he coached one game, and they looked good doing it, and they won the bowl game and all that. And there's only one coach in the league who's never coached one game.
Klein?
So you put him in number 16.
Yeah.
And then there's
now,
one guy who's coached one game.
A great coach.
15. Right. Now, there's a couple other new coaches, but obviously, they're coming in from North Texas, Washington State.
Record.
They got a track record to grade those guys on. So basically, it was like the two guys who got incompletes were put down at the bottom of the list.
I think that if you want to evaluate Kalani Sitake, there's very different ways to evaluate these guys these days. And one of the things that really, really screams to me what he's got going is talk to guys that are in the program, but they're on the edges, their support staff. How do those guys, what do those people think of him? And we've had the opportunities to do that.
Yes. Well,
and then also, too, look at the changeover.
There it is. Okay. I was about to make that point.
Very little changeover in players, very little changeover in staff.
Actions and words.
Yeah.
And they match up. They say they like being with him, and then when they have the chance to go elsewhere, which just like the players, when you're winning, it doesn't matter if you're the head coach, if you're the assistant coach, whatever, people are going to come for you. And we had people talking to us about that off camera. Yeah, we had a couple of people talking about it off microphone yesterday.
Yeah, because I'm not on camera anymore.
You were just a couple of weeks ago. After
it's just a vacation fill-in.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't have regular. I'm not a regular TV guy anymore. I've retired the print. I've retired the TV.
Yeah, but there's something else about to happen. I just got told about yesterday. So hold on there. I know, Madon.
But that's a real barometer for judgment, and that's exciting. If I'm a BYU fan, I love that. Morgan will get his opportunity to prove that. He proved it to an extent. Go back and listen yesterday. They made the coaches the assistants. Now, the assistants are just for 5 minutes, but trying to get Sharif Shaw 5 minutes, that ain't happening.
That's one question.
I know that's one question, quite literally.
He got asked a question. It's a good question, but I've heard him asked it before.
It's a great question.
And I knew what the answer was going to be, and he gave virtually the same answer.
And he shouldn't be limited to 5 minutes.
No, he's got something to say.
He sells your program every time he's out in front. Get that man out in front as much as possible because he was there. He came up from L.A. down there in Dorsey in L.A. City, just right off below the freeway there. I don't want to tell you the freeway because then you'll look it up. But Dorsey and his brother, I actually covered his brother when I was covering preps down there.
The 91?
No.
Oh. The 55?
It's a 10.
Oh, okay.
You went stuff that's more south.
Yeah.
And he sells it, and he was asked. Coach Witt was very persuasive, but I wanted to be here. I want to be with that guy that we've spent over a decade
sitting in the corner room thinking, if we ever had the chance, we'd do this or we'd do that.
Right.
And he's already called Morgan. Hey, do you remember when you said if you had this moment, you do that? Here's the moment. And Morgan's like, no.
And those guys are boys. I've seen them on the golf course together.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to them on the golf course together.
Mm-hmm.
So from that perspective, that's Morgan's time will come. Kalani's got 11 years into it, so obviously we've got more ammunition to talk about him. But the fact that all of these guys, the two guys who left went to Michigan. And one actually had the deeper connection, speaking of Jay, obviously, with Kyle longer than he did with Kalani. So there was a strong connection there. And then clearly Guilford had developed a connection with Jay. But that's pretty good. You lose 2 to Michigan, tip your hat. Way to go. Good luck, guys. But everybody else stayed. And guys wanted to be here. The 2 new coaches that they got, they're ecstatic to be there. So that's and hardly any. He could have lost a bunch of players, but
easy. And right at the top of the list, I had Satawala. That was the number one. As soon as all this went down, I was like, "What's Satawala going to do?"
Well, great player, local kid. Smith Soden went.
Yeah. Yep.
I got no problem with him going. He chose what he chose.
Again,
so be it.
Really good player.
Satawala chooses. Now, I think he just got engaged and all, so he had a gal here and all that stuff. So that stuff matters, your personal life and whatnot. But he still had that opportunity.
I'm sure.
I would assume Glasgow had the opportunity.
Yeah, I think these are guys that we're sure they can play in the Big Ten.
Of course they can.
We think they can play in the NFL, we're pretty sure they can play.
Yeah.
I mean, now we're at the point where we just look at these rosters, and they got like draftable guys every year. And you can look, they may not be in this draft class if, Satawala as a sophomore can't be drafted.
Weeks ago, I put a question up on Facebook, and we never even got to it because we had so much going on with the Jazz at the time that somebody had said, some draft, ESPN or whatever it was, said that there's up to 10 draftable guys on the Cougars team, and we never got to it.
We didn't.
Yeah.
But that NFL draft's a long way away. We got time.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if.
But I think we're at that point now where it's not unusual.
It's not unusual to have NFL guys at BYU.
It's not unusual to see.
He does it again.
2, 3, 4 guys. I want to finish the thought. 2, 3, 4 guys in a draft class. Back
you
to the
will not stop me from making this point.
I'm going to make the point.
Yeah, and you should make the point.
2, 3, 4 guys in a draft class is not surprising to say that play.
No, not unusual. I like it's not unusual. It's not.
It's not unusual. And then you multiply that over 4 years, and you're like, well, that's 8, 12, 16 guys on these rosters. And you got transfers and you got Michigan guys, so guys may not be, but you get the point. Yeah. It's not, if they've got a pretty good team, and we think both these teams are pretty good teams, it's not going to be a big surprise to say that. Now, if they start getting to a point where you can say, hey, they got 6 guys this year, and there's going to be another 4 or 5 next year.
That's what you want.
They're all out there on the, so first off, I'm not surprised by the 10. Now, second, tell me how many are going to be on the field, because some of the guys may be younger. They may not be out in the field. Obviously, there's guys to injuries and all that. But it's
I
not
think they were
shock.
saying that's 10 this year. Now, that's not all seniors, because Satawala, this is his 3rd season, right?
Yeah, Satawala is draft eligible.
He's draft eligible. It's draft eligible guys in 2027.
You're talking, I was just talking the whole roster or the year. But what you're saying, and this is the way football works, we just have to adapt to it, there's 3rd, 4th, and 5th year guys.
All those guys are draft eligible.
All those guys are draft eligible.
Yeah.
But again, if it's 3 per class, you got to have 15 on the roster, but 3 per class is 9 eligible for a draft, so to say. And I don't think they said there are 10. I thought I have to go back and read the story.
They said up to 10.
Up
but
to.
That's this year's draft class. To PK's point, they also had the caveat on there
so they
are
weren't
more.
counting Satuala because he's a
Yes.
Yes,
they are.
junior.
He's a redshirt
draft
sophomore.
eligible for 2027
because he's about to play his third season,
Yes.
right?
But they didn't include Bear Bachmeyer because he's draft
not.
ineligible.
No.
And so they said,
wait. You said he is or he's not?
He's not. It's a second year. He's
Right. Okay. I thought you said is. I did not hear you say
no,
not.
no.
I could hear PK say not, but you're talking over each other.
No, I remember it. They were
Right.
talking this
year's
year,
10 guys.
Draft eligible dudes.
The name BYU will be called by the commissioner on the stage 10 times next spring.
We'll see.
Could be.
We'll
Could
see.
be.
Yeah. That's the
But
projection.
you've got to go
And
through
you
the
can go
third,
down
fourth,
the
and
list.
fifth
I
year
mean, they're
guys.
obvious.
Yeah.
We can all name them.
Do it.
I mean, to name them? I mean,
Sure.
I'd have to get the roster up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're right off the top. You're right about Satuala, and you're right about Glasker. That's,
I wrote down. In fact, when that thing came out, I wrote it down.
LJ Martin has got to be on your list, right?
Pac-12 notebook.
That is a collector's item. I don't think you should be writing that. It's a museum piece.
Let's see. You want BYU? Okay, draft eligible dudes. Well, you got certainly Bruce Mitchell along the line, Gentry. Now, I'm being not necessarily specific. I'm naming possibilities. Walker Lyons, guys up front, Tanavasa, maybe Kirkland Schoonover. We'll see. At the linebacker, Glasker, Olivea, how is it? Olivave, yeah.
Uluave.
And I'll screw that up all season. And DB, we already mentioned Satuala, Evan Johnson. I wouldn't put possibly Demooney. We shall see.
Trey Alexander should be on that list.
Yeah, I'm going. Well, he's in my neck. I got to get down on it. I have him at.
Well, you're talking about secondary, so I just
Let him talk, Yuck.
Yeah. So how many guys did I name?
That's 11. I'm counting. You've named 11.
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious, and there'll be other guys. Maybe
Emerge.
Maybe JoJo Phillips has this breakout 1,200-yard season that we've been talking about because, oh, my gosh, he's got the size. And for whatever reason, I don't know because I wasn't following Oregon the last couple years the way we used to. But you look at the Casper kid, and, he certainly has the measurables. And I don't know why he didn't play at Oregon. I understand there were some injury issues, but I didn't follow Oregon the way I normally would if they were still in my beloved, dearly departed conference. I would know way more about the guys that they had, but we don't have to pay attention to them that much anymore. So maybe he's somebody. Who knows? I don't know. And maybe there's a couple other guys along the offensive line there. Finau, for instance. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, those are the guys, and maybe even Saliha Sarah. I mean, he could have a breakout season. I think he's been in the program for 3 years, or going to be draft eligible. But yeah, those are your dudes, and away they go. So that's this year that we're talking about, and obviously there's going to be underclassmen that will.
Second-year guys might contribute a lot.
Well, Bachmeyer would be the leading candidate, obviously. Oh, and I didn't even put L.J. Martin on that list. I didn't even say L.J. Martin.
I know. I named him. I named him while
okay.
you were waiting, so I figured just skipped over him.
LJ's probably the highest of the guys on that list in terms of what people think right now.
And then we'll have the whole decision, even if you can be drafted, do you come back? What's your NIL money? If you think you're going to be a fifth, sixth round pick, maybe you come back a year. I mean, there's all kinds of question marks. But the point is, there's no shortage of talent, and there's going to be NFL scouts at games and watching film. And when you got that many talented guys, you ought to win. And that, to circle back to our earlier discussion, that's why the head coach and both coordinators are saying biggest, strongest, fastest team. And then you got NFL people backing it up, and they don't even care about the wins and losses. You can have a hole in a position group that costs you a game, and they can still draft a bunch of your guys who play in other position groups.
And, yeah, at the start of the segment, that's why Kalani is rated as high as he is, because the reality is he's got the program humming right now. You cannot argue that. And that's why I think there was some higher-ups, and I got information here, that said, no, he's not going to Penn State. I mean, he may go, but we're going to do everything in our power to keep him.
Yeah, we're not letting him go.
Right.
If he wants to walk.
Even though Jay Hill was an awesome alternative.
Oh, yeah.
The folks at the highest levels, which are not necessarily at the campus level, we're keeping him. We're gonna keep him. This is our number one objective. And normally in those situations, when those people who really, really have the decision-making power, if they say, this is our number one objective, it's going to get accomplished.
And then, we had to go down to a press conference because they got done.
Right. And
there's so much that goes into it. And you start with the winning because it's always about the winning. 4 double-digit win seasons in the last 6 years. The other 2, they had QB injuries. So that's right there. But then when you talk to people about how much they like interacting with him, how much they like working with him, how much they like sitting in meetings, strategizing about what the plan is and what has to be done, right down the list, A, B, C, what the next year, 2, 3. Man, the people who sit in those meetings rave about him.
And he got the best endorsement a week ago, just 7 days ago.
And that would be?
JK telling him, big fan. She looked at him and just said, big fan. What more do you want?
See, there it is. Now you want to tell people who JK is?
The old lady.
What?
The old lady.
There it is. Mrs. K.
Yes.
The most powerful endorsement.
Just, I said, this is JK. Oh, I love this guy. And she just looked at him and said, big fan. What more do you need?
And for people who don't listen to the show a lot and aren't paying attention, she's got a little bit of experience in this area. She has dealt with coaches and recruiters in multiple sports for years as a high school teacher and coach. Mm-hmm. And coaches come through campus from literally, and I mean, for a while she was at junior high, so she wasn't seeing it. But then for a while she was at high school. And previously in her career, she'd been at high school in the LA area where there's a gazillion athletes playing a gazillion sports. Yeah. And everybody recruits LA. And now up here at Corner Canyon, everybody recruits. So is there a little bit of, I turn on the TV, I watch games, I listen, I hear PK stories when he comes home. That's a factor. But also, literally, she's talked to hundreds of coaches.
I'm the kind of husband, I never kept her barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen.
See, I literally had someone complain about that yesterday. You have a great show. I want to listen to your show, but sometimes that dude you're with, and they did say sometimes, like sometimes they like listen to you, but sometimes that dude you're with, right there.
That is the advancement of women, and women are being attacked these days. And I say, I don't keep her barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. I'm a progressive dude.
That's progress, huh? that's
compared to barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. Yes,
sure. That's your starting line. That's your starting.
You got to start from the start.
And why is the fact that you would label that the start?
I didn't label it.
Oh, I'll tell a guy to talk to you. I don't want to get in the middle of you two. You two can have it out over there. I don't have the energy for that. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Top of the hour conversation with Kelly Papinga. He's done the tour, PK, or been around the block. To BYU, to Virginia, to Boise State, back to BYU. We'll talk with him at the top of the hour. Stay with us.
Welcome to This is Jay Scott and Ben Anderson.
I mean, honestly, this is uncharted territory for Utah. Other than Witt like to change his offensive coordinator every 45 minutes, we have not seen a switch at head coach for Utah, hardly ever. I mean, they are the Pittsburgh Steelers of college football. Kind of had a couple of coaches, and they've all stepped in and been very successful.
I think Morgan probably will try and find the sweet spot in being a little bit more aggressive. If he tries to go full Mike Leach on it, Utah's going to learn some painful lessons. But
there's more room for error than Witt thought.
There is, and I think
in a good way.
And we saw that in the bowl game. Mm-hmm. Deep down, Witt is a soccer coach, and I don't think that Morgan is a soccer coach. And when I say that, I mean like, oh, you've got a 1-goal to none lead. Well, let's sit on that thing. Yep. Let's anchor it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Love that strategy.
Catch Jake and Ben afternoons from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Went down to BYU, talked to a bunch of people. We'll play some of the interviews here. One of them, Kelly Papinga, next. And we'll probably play our conversation with A-Rod tomorrow. then you talked to a bunch of people, PK. We had a couple of interviews. We talked with Tiger. Any impressions you took away from that opening day? We had the impressions on the opening day at Utah Monday and on the air with the Aggies Media Day Tuesday. Scotty G and Tim Lacombe out there broadcasting live. The Cougars are live. The Cougars are the last of three to get underway. Headlines, takeaways.
They're bigger, stronger, faster.
That sticks with you, huh?
Yeah. There is a confidence level that I haven't seen this team have in maybe Taysom and Jamal's senior season, but everything was brand new then with the coaches, so you didn't really know what to expect. You might have to go back to Broncos' run of, what do you have, 43 wins there in the 4 seasons from 2006.
Where they knew when they walked out on the field in August, we are preparing to just knock people over week after week.
Yes. And, we've been around long enough to be able to assess that. Like I made a statement the other day at Utah with one of their administrators that I think Devin Dampier is the best leader that they've had at quarterback since Brian Johnson. And he looked at me and says, well, you would know more than I would because I wasn't there then. Right.
Brian Johnson was a great leader, and Devin is. And I think that what they kind of knew it, but it's just being underlined at Michigan is like, man, he was good. Because this quarterback's really good, and they have a talented quarterback. But Dampier is like a leader in the film room with the guys, his grasp of the offense.
Away from any of the other guys. Cam Rising was a great leader too.
To take nothing away from the current quarterback in Michigan, previous quarterbacks at Utah, he's just got something. And when I hear the current OC McGivern talk about, hey, we're putting stuff in, he's grasping, and it's much better. I'm like, man, if he's getting his arms around in a month, what I've been told about this guy, like if it's good with him today and you like the progress you're making, and you still have a month before you have to play a game and it really matters, well, that's awesome. Because whatever grasp he has on it now, it's going to be times 10 3 weeks from now.
So that's not to say that the other ones, I want to make that abundantly clear. And I just use it as an example that when I say to me, this is my own personal opinion, take it for what it's worth, that I believe that this group has been the most confident since Bronco probably going into Max's senior year. That's based on my experience of being around the program. That's one of the benefits of being old as crap, is that you can make statements like that. Yeah, because we've been around and covered these programs intensely.
So, shorthand for the listeners, expectations for a 5th double-digit win season in the last 7 years.
Oh, I think that's very realistic.
And that's with Notre Dame and Utah on the schedule.
Expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Arizona, TCU. Don't you can put those other two there. I've got no problem, but don't limit it to that.
There are plenty of other games.
The Devils come up and they'll have 2 months in the season. We'll know. Maybe they're really good. Maybe they're just fighting for bowl eligibility. We shall see.
But even if they don't have a great season, can they be good on any given Saturday?
I think there's plenty of teams in this conference that
can be good on any given Saturday.
Yes.
TCU, Houston, Arizona State.
Yes. No, there's no question in my mind.
DJ and PK, when we come back, our conversation with Brady Papinga, BYU defensive coordinator, next. Excuse me, did I say Brady? Yeah. Kelly Papinga. I got Brady on the brain. Kelly Papinga, BYU defensive coordinator. Sorry about that, Kelly. Coming up next. Stay with us.